Good evening. I just decided to do this video, test my feet in the live video format. I'm smoking a L'Atelier Special Select Lat 52. You know, I've been smoking about 20 years, and when I started smoking, I only smoked Habanos. So if someone gave me something that wasn't an ISO, I turned my nose up at it. I was a snob. I was one of those guys who only smoked Cuban. If it wasn't Cuban, it was junk without even tasting it, you know. It's only been over the last 3 years that I actually started to give a little bit more attention to the non-Cuban stuff. And so I've smoked around. You know, I got stuck on Patels for a minute, but never really met satisfaction with those like I did with so many of the Cubans. I mean, I've smoked pretty much everything Cuban-wise. I remember my first stick that turned me out was a 97 Vegas Robena Famoso. I smoked it over here in Alhambra at the Havana House. And they have, I don't know if any of you live in California, Southern California, if you've ever been there. They have live music and dancing and all that. And that stick was so good that nothing else mattered. You know, that was the stick that turned me out, that really got me hooked. And I've been chasing that ever since. It's eluded me. I haven't found a stick quite like that since. Obviously, it's hard to find another 97 Famoso. I don't think they even, I mean, if someone has them, they're hoarding them. But, you know, I've smoked other things that I enjoyed, Cohibas. You know, I've been, like a lot of these guys, I've been tricked into buying the fakes, you know, the trips to Mexico and whatnot. But I've had a lot of the real deal. I have my sources that I rely on for those, but I've given a lot of I've been giving a lot more attention to the non-Cubans, and since then, more recently, I've gotten hooked on these Tatuajes and L'Ateliers, and I think that the you know, the Tatuajes, to me, you know, I've asked this question. You know, I've been to different events, JDN events, Drew Estate events, and I've asked the question, what do you have that would smoke like a Cuban for me? And obviously that's not really a fair question, because you're talking the differences of tobaccos and whatnot. But I found something for me that smokes as close to Cuban without being Cuban as I can get, and that is the Tatuaje lines. I like the way Pete Johnson, his presentation, first off, mimics what you get out of Cuban. I mean, he has box codes, box dates on his boxes. He uses a lot of cabinet boxes, slide lids. You know, it's not all this ridiculous fancy packaging. It's simple, and the sticks are good. And so lately I've been smoking a lot of these L'Ateliers, and I was disappointed when I discovered that, you know, they discontinued some of the ones that I enjoy the most. And so I've been searching and trying to hoard those for myself, like the Lat Lancero and the Lat 38, and the some of the Maduros, and even a couple of the Identities are no longer being produced. And man, his the Dororos, I have the 15s and I have the 16s and the 17s, and those things smoke great. So I don't know what you guys think. Right now I'm smoking the SS Lat 52 SS. I just finished the regular Lat 52. I'm doing a back-to-back, trying to see for myself some of the differences in how they smoke. I think I'm becoming partial to the SS blend. I think it's just a wrapper change. It's kind of like when I smoked the Micaritas, the Dumbartons, when I smoked the red bands and the blue bands. At first, I enjoyed the blue band, the anchos, but now I'm kind of partial to the trickies. The tricky Traca is one of my favorites, and so now I think as a I guess I wouldn't call myself a native, but a native Cuban smoker, native to Cuban cigars. I find Dumbarton and Tatuaje to be the best. I wish my Spanish was better, bro. I appreciate the comment. But does anybody else smoke these? What do you guys think? You know, one thing that kind of disturbs me now is, like, for me, I'm a box buyer. I'm not a stick buyer. And I see people who do these tours. And when they open their humidor, it's just full of single sticks. First off, I think that's, for me personally, it's a waste of space to just buy a bunch of sticks and you got all that space in your humidor. I buy boxes, but the boxes I buy are the things I really enjoy. And now I see it seems like a lot of people are trending towards, the latest, greatest, fancy or crazy looking banded stick. And I question whether or not those people are real smokers or they're just chasing after the status of having that stick, I belong to cigar clubs. I'm a Privada member. I'm a luxury cigar member. I've been a Smoke Inn member. And I enjoy those clubs because you get the chance to try different things and things you may not purchase on your own. But I have been disappointed in some of the sticks that I've smoked from there. I've been disappointed in some of the LCA releases that I've gotten from Privada. And, I don't mind trying new things, but I think a lot of people try new things all the time. So when do you go back to the stuff you like? I mean, are people stocking up on those boxes? Are they buying boxes of the things they liked, or they just jump onto that next thing? So I don't know. What do you guys think? Who here is a box buyer? Man, this is a good stick. On that retro hell, wow, you really get a lot going on. And this has that Sanctus Spiritus leaf in it. I'm not sure how much that has to do with the flavor, but it's really good. Two years? Good for you, man. Keep going. There's a lot of stuff out there. Are you a Cuban smoker or are you smoking the non-Cubans? What do you smoke most, anyway? Right. That's the way to do it. Buy random singles, and then what you like, that's what you stock up on. Yeah. I've been doing that a lot. Before, when I was doing Cubans, I would get sticks from here and there. I go to Herf's all the time, and I would try different things, and then I'd go grab a box of it if I could find it. And I'm kind of doing that with the non-Cuban stuff now. But I don't know. I just find a lot of the non-Cubans just don't hit me like I want them to. But like I said, the Dumbarton stuff, the Tatuaje stuff, those hit me right. When you say the flavor, you mean like those Drew Estate, the acids? Have you tried the Deadwoods? I gotta be honest, I like the Deadwoods. I like those. And then if you get a chance, check out Trafficante. Trafficante makes one called the Dirty Sanchez. The Dirty Sanchez is tequila and bourbon infused. That, man, when you smell it, just the smell of the stick itself, it's like pipe tobacco. I mean, it's got a really, really fragrant, pleasing taste or smell to it. And when I smoked it, I was like, yeah, that was nice. So I went back and I bought a gang of those. I don't smoke that many of the acids, but I have tried some. What's the blue one? I forget the name of it, but I did enjoy that blue one that they make. I forget the name of it, but that one was cool. And yeah, check out Trafficante. That's a dope cigar, man. The Dirty Sanchez. They have a bunch of other ones, but the Dirty Sanchez is the one with the that has the tequila and bourbon. That's a good stick. And I'm seeing more brands start to do those infusions, those whiskey casks and bourbon cask aged tobaccos. All right, take care, man. But I don't know. At the heart of it, I'm a purist. I want to smoke and taste the tobacco. Like most of the time, if I'm smoking for taste, I just drink sparkling water to keep my palate cleansed. And occasionally I'll drink some whiskey or some bourbon, scotch, rum, sometimes even a tequila, you know, but it's got to be a sipping tequila. I don't shoot. But it's all just to enhance the flavors of the cigars I'm smoking. I don't really do coffee with cigars. I know a lot of people are into that, but that's never been my thing. Like a lot of my buddies are big coffee snobs. It's got to be this bean, this roast, this grind, all that kind of stuff. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Ciao. All right. Pecan whiskey. I don't think I've tried that. You know, back in like around 2008, 2009, I don't know if you guys remember the bacon thing. There was this bacon craze, at least here. There was this bacon craze. So I tried to make my own bacon infused whiskey. That was a disaster. It didn't work out. But I fried up a bunch of bacon and I got rid of the grease, and I put the bacon in there and I let it sit for a while. And then at first it wasn't bad, but it quickly went rancid. You know, the grease from the bacon didn't do so well. You know, it made it all bad real fast. So I got maybe like one tasting out of it and then it went bad. But even then, it was a first effort. So I didn't do the best job at it. Yeah, bacon. Yeah, I know, but I got it off of one of those Food Network shows. They were doing it at some bar somewhere, and I was like, I gotta try that. So I went and I tried it. It didn't work out for me. I think you need to put some simple syrup in it or something to kind of sweeten it up a little bit, and then it just didn't work for me. It's Revelstoke Pecan. I'm gonna have to go check that out. Revelstoke Pecan whiskey. When I'm drinking whiskey, my go-to is actually Michter's Small Batch American. That is a smooth sipping whiskey, man. That's some good stuff. Scotch, I gotta really be in the mood for Scotch. I gotta find some that aren't so peaty. The peat just kills it for me. I do like brandies. I go towards the Spanish brandies. Fundador I can do. Carlos Mendoza I can do. Stuff like that. When it comes to rums, I prefer Havana Club. That's my go-to rum. I got some of that in my locker at the lounge. So, you know, I like certain things, not everything. You know, a good mojito sometimes goes well with a cigar. And since this COVID thing kicked off, I find myself smoking every day. You know, sometimes I put down 2-3 sticks a day. On the weekends, I might hit 4 or more. You know, so it pays to find good sticks when you smoke as much as I do. If you're just smoking a stick here and there, it doesn't really matter. But when you smoke as much as I do, you need to have good stuff. Right on. Where do you go in Mexico? I'm in LA. The weather might look yummy, but I got my little heater going over here. So it's right now it's about, I think, in the 60s. Let me see, what is it? Yeah, right now it says 61. So I have my little heater out here. Yes, I document my smokes. I actually created a Google Doc where I photograph my cigar, put a picture of the cigar, and then I talk about, you know, what it is. I list everything, where I got it, how much I paid, and then the first third, second third, third third, then I try to give it a rating so that I can always go back. And when I get stuff from cigar clubs, like Pravada gives you a sheet that tells you about the cigar, Luxury Cigar Club gives you the card. I save all of those so I can have a reference when I go back. And sometimes I like to take their stuff and I go and I smoke the stick and then I write down what I get out of the stick, and then I try to compare it. And it won't always be 100% because palates are different. You know, each person has their own palate. You know, me, when I go to eat food, it's like looking at Yelp reviews. Yelp reviews are useless for me sometimes because I have a specific taste that I enjoy. And when I go somewhere and I see these ratings, you know, I'm often disappointed. I see 5 stars and you go there and to me the food is garbage, but apparently a lot of people like it. You know, so it's the same with the cigars. Yeah, I recommend joining a club. If you're going to join, depends on what your budget is for a club. If you join Pravada, it's about just under $30 a month. But it's hard to get in because they give preference to people who join their farm roll first. You know. Congratulations. I write Yelp reviews and and they're usually kind of funny because, you know, I don't know. I try to make them humorous even when I'm giving a bad one. But you know, it's all good. I wish that they could create a Yelp review system that would normalize the review for your taste. Like all the people that enjoy the same things I enjoy, you would be able to see their reviews versus just general reviews. Because if you're from a cultural background where there's not a lot of seasoning in the food, you know, or maybe you prefer things that are sour, spicy. Like my wife is Filipino, and Filipinos eat salty, sour, and bitter, right? So if they're going out to eat food that they enjoy, they may give a bad review someplace because those are the tastes they're used to eating. You know what I'm saying? So if you're used to eating the kinds of foods that I like, and then you go somewhere, you might be disappointed. And it's not because those people made bad food, it's because your tastes just don't agree with it. You know? Right, preference setting. I think it's true for the cigars as well. You know, I used to, when I first got the Davidoff book, if any of you know about it, Davidoff wrote a book on cigar etiquette. And the first time I read it way back about 15 years ago, I was like, this dude's crazy, you know, because he said some things in there that I found like, nobody's going to do that. And he talked about, you know, choosing cigars. And now I think about it, I'm like, yeah, some of that's true, honestly. So, you know, a lot of times people gravitate toward a cigar that looks the best, looks fancy, you know, double, triple banded. I think that's what's going on with these, the Opus. I got a box of Opus that I've had for almost 20 years. I just cracked it last year and started smoking out of it because I was a Cuban snob. I refused to smoke them. I was like, these are garbage. I'll never smoke these. So finally, I started smoking them. And how do you pronounce whose name? I started smoking them, and they actually are good now with age. But now you have all these $80, $90 Opus, and I see people flocking to that stuff. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't have the kind of budget where I'm going to be. Yeah, Zeno Davidoff. I don't have the kind of budget where I'm going to be dropping $80, $90 on a stick of, you know, a cigar. Especially when, you know, they're limited production anyway. So it's not like you're going to be going buying box after box after box. But, you know, I don't know. I see people that do it. I got a guy I smoke with who buys those things. And I'm like, man, you're crazy. There's no way I'm paying $80, $90 for cigars. I mean, there's some rare aged Cubans I can pay $80, $90 for. I'm not going to pay that for a Opus, you know. But I think putting a pretty band on it, putting a ribbon on the foot, in a colorful box, you know, it's all marketing. You know, think about it. How much are you paying? How much of that cigar is the triple bands, the ribbons, the pink lacquered box or the crazy colored lacquered box? All that special stuff adds to the price. So you're paying for the box itself. Like when CAO came out with the Sopranos, I don't know if they were called Sopranos, but they came in that red box that looked like the rear end of a Cadillac. And, you know, you're paying for packaging. I don't want to pay for packaging. I want to pay for cigars. And that's why I love what Pete Johnson does with Tatuajes, and even with what Saka's doing with Dunbarton cigars. The packaging is plain, simple, wooden boxes. You know, even the coffins are simple. It's not a bunch of fancy stuff to grab your eye. So if you're a new person walking in a humidor somewhere, you gravitate to the big stick and the fancy stick, and you spend a lot of money on stuff that might just be mediocre, as opposed to spending all your hard-earned cash on something that's going to want you or bring you back over and over again. The most I ever paid for a box of cigars was $600. That was for a box of Cohiba Reservas. Had 30 sticks, had 6 of each, and it had I think the Piramides, the Coros, Escondidos, Lanceros. I can't remember what else it had, but that was $600. That box today is worth crazy money. Do you have a humidor, Farad? Farad? I think I'm saying your name right. I apologize if I'm not. What do you have, a desktop? Do you have a cabinet? Do you have one of those little like Vino tip refrigerator types? don't know. There's so much to learn in this cigar game when it comes to just the cigars. Yeah. Having desktops are cool. I had a couple. I don't run them now. When I first started out smoking, I built myself a couple coolers. And so what I did is I went over to Rocklear, and Rocklear sells Spanish cedar. So I bought a bunch of Spanish cedar, took it home, and I cut it up and I built boxes with shelves, and I put them inside my marine coolers. I bought a couple marine coolers, and man, every time I'd open that door, that Spanish cedar would woof right in my face. Oh my God, that smells so good. I still have one of them. I have one of my cooler doors, and that thing, man, it smells so good. And with that Spanish cedar, your sticks aging in that Spanish cedar, wow, it really has an impact on the taste of the cigar. You've been having an issue getting it to season. Have you tried using the Boveda seasoning packs? They have these seasoning packs that are like 84%, and you put them in there for a few days, and it'll season up your humi. Cheers. I use Boveda packs in my travel humidors. And then whenever you buy cigars online, they come with Boveda, so I save them. And I reuse them. And I reuse them over and over again till they start turning. You can start filling the chunks. And then I throw them away. But you can recharge them, just soak them in distilled water for a couple days. And they still work. You know, no need to keep buying new ones every time. But you could also buy humidity beads on Amazon. Yeah, have you done a salt test with your hygrometer? What you do is, if you haven't done that, what you can do is take a large Ziploc bag. You take your hygrometer, you put it inside, and you take a small bottle cap, and you make a slurry with salt and distilled water. And you don't want it to be super wet. You don't want it to be mostly liquid. You kind of want like a little thick slurry. Put it in there, leave it for a day, and it should reach 70%. If it doesn't reach 70%, whatever that difference is, then you can note it mentally that, okay, if it's reading 67, then you know it's really 70, and you can make your adjustments. Do you have a Cigar Oasis? Have you tried one of those? They make small ones for your desktop. In my cabinet, I have a tall cabinet humidor, and I run a small Cigar Oasis on the bottom, and I run a Magna at the top. That's the biggest one they make. So I run the Magna at the top, and the moisture settles down, and then I have a hygrometer on every shelf. What's that? The Cigar Oasis? It's an electronic humidifier. The smaller ones run on batteries, but I think you can also plug it in, but you can get ones that run on batteries, and it monitors the humidity, and when it needs moisture, it turns on, and there's like a sponge inside of it that you put distilled water in, and the fan will blow the moisture into the air and humidify your cabinet or your humidor. And so they make them for different sizes. So I have a smaller one that I use on the bottom, because the bottom shelf, I have so many boxes in my humidor, the bottom shelf kind of gets cut off. So I put it at the bottom, and then I have a big giant one. It's like about maybe a foot long, and it's about that deep, and it's full of beads, and you fill it up with distilled water, and the beads swell up and hold the humidity. And then I have the sensor, the control module in the middle of the humidor. So it reads the middle shelf, and then it just turns it on and brings the humidity down. And then I have jars of humidity beads on a couple of the shelves just to kind of normalize it. And then, humidity beads with the Boveda technique. I'm not sure what you mean by with the Boveda technique. I do use humidity beads, but Boveda technique, I'm not sure about that. And so I have them there, and then I have the hygrometers on every shelf. And then I bought one of those Cigar Medics humidity meters, which you can use to then plug it into your cigar, and it'll tell you what the humidity of your cigar is. Have you guys seen those? They're pretty cheap, about $25, and it'll tell you what the humidity of your cigar is. You know, which the humidity of your cigar changes if it gets hot, if it gets cold. The humidity changes on your cigar, because if it gets hot, your cigar is going to release humidity. If it's cold, it's going to hold on to humidity. So you always know if your cigar is ready to smoke or in the best smoking condition. Oh no, I haven't paired the two together. No, that's something I have to look at. Yeah, Cigar Medics. You can look them up on Instagram. Cigar Medics, CIGARMEDIC. Cigar Medic. They make those humidity meters, and it has two prongs, and you stick it in the cigar, and it'll read the humidity of your cigar. It doesn't work so well with smaller ring gauges, obviously, because the prongs are at a certain distance apart. So when you try to do a Lancero, it'll fit in the Lancero, but the prongs are against the wrapper or against the edge. So I don't think it gives an accurate reading. But you can try it plugging it in this way. But if you do that, you got to stick it in down towards the foot where you're going to smoke it. You don't want to do it in the middle, because then you'll end up playing a flute. The humidity meter, Cigar Medics is the device I use to check the humidity on my sticks when I get ready to smoke them. And it'll also tell you if your humidity in your humidor is good, you know. Because if your hygrometers are not reading right and you pull sticks out, you think they're, 60 to 70%, and then you pull it out and you stick that in there and it's saying 50, then, it could be other things going on. But if it's way out of whack, something's going on. Gerard, are you smoking right now? Liquid and smoke, are you smoking? What are you smoking on, guys? Nice. One of the funniest things that Davidoff said in his book is that you should never smoke a cigar more than halfway. That's great for somebody who owns a cigar shop, right? But for me, I don't own a cigar shop, so I try to get the most out of my cigars as possible. But I also find that a lot of times some of the best flavor is when you get to the nub. When you're nubbing a cigar, that's when you get some of the best flavors out of it. So if you throw it away at the halfway point, man, you're never going to experience that. You're never going to really get to enjoy what that cigar has to offer. That's why you know, reviews are often done in thirds. If you skip the final third of the cigar, you're giving up a lot. Hey, what's up, Tatum? How's it going, brother? Hey, bro. Hey, Farrar, is the PHA, does that stand for something? I used to be in an organization that had the PHA as its as part of its name. Yeah, Bible study's gonna be dope tomorrow night. What's the PHA stand for? Oh, for real? Okay. I thought. Where'd you go to college at? When I was in college, we used to have an organization called the Prince Hall Masons. Prince Hall affiliation of Masons. So PHA stood for Prince Hall. That's a HBCU, right? Right on. Good explanation, Baptista. Yeah, I went to Grambling. I went to a HBCU too. I miss those days, man, being down there on the yard, running around crazy. We used to road trip. I don't think I ever made it to your school, but we road tripped all over, man. That was the thing back in those days. We go all the way to what? Shoot, I went to South Carolina State. I went to Meharry. Went to over to Atlanta, Morehouse, Spelman, all those places. Cool. Did I go to Morgan State? I don't remember going to Morgan State. Where else did I used to go. I've been up to Central State, Wilberforce, Jackson State a bunch of times, Southern, Xavier, Dillard, Suno, Prairie View, Texas State, Tennessee State. That was the thing to do back then, man. Road tripping, that was it. Fill up the tank and let's go. Yeah, yeah. Those were the good old days, man. It was all about, you and your boys just going out and doing crazy stuff, having fun. My school was in the middle of the country. I mean, not the middle of the United States country, but literally in the middle of nothing. Like, there was cornfields all around us. So, we had a lot going on campus itself, but if you wanted to really get out, you had to go drive somewhere, Yep, yep. I'm getting questions in Spanish. My Spanish is not the best. And I appreciate you guys tuning into this. This is my first go at trying to do a live. My first real attempt at doing a live. So I'm about to cut this out and finish this cigar. And I'm going to tune in to YouTube. That's the thing to do nowadays. So you guys enjoy your smokes and the rest of your nights. And catch me the next time I'm on here. Have a good one, y'all.